Welcome back. I'm sure you had a great learning experience in this specific section. In the last two sections, we got an introduction to the Spring framework. We understood what is coupling, how you can bring in loose coupling using Java interfaces, and we also understood how to launch a Spring container. We made use of an application context to launch a Spring container, and we created a number of Spring Beans. We also understood the difference between Java Bean and Spring Bean. We also understood some of the most important Spring concepts. We understood what is a dependency, what is auto-wiring, what is dependency injection. We understood the different types of dependency injection. And we also explored some of the most important annotations related to Spring Framework. We understood what is add bean, add component, add configuration, add primary, add qualifier. And we also understood when to use which one of them. And we use a hands-on approach to learn all these concepts. As I said before, if you understand Spring Framework well, you are well on your way to becoming a great developer. The concepts you are learning here will not only be useful in building great Spring-based applications, but also in debugging problems. For a long time, I've been thinking of designing something awesome to help you learn all the Spring concepts in a highly visual and a very hands-on way. What you're seeing now is a result of that effort. I'm sure you're having a great learning experience, and let's get a quick sneak peek into what you'd be learning in the next section. Now that you understood some of the important fundamentals of Spring Framework, let's go advanced in this specific section. We'll understand what is lazy initialization. Until now, all beans that we have created are initialized at the startup of a Spring container. How can you bring in lazy initialization? After that, we'll look at the different bean scopes that are present in Spring Framework. We'll be focusing on the two important ones, prototype and singleton. After that, we'll get into post-construct and pre-destroy. If you want to do something after the dependencies of a bean are ready, or if you want to do something just before a bean is removed from Spring context, that's where post-construct and pre-destroy methods are really useful. After we understand post-construct and pre-destroy, we'll get a sneak peek into the history of J2EE, Java EE, Jakarta EE, and we'll understand CDI, or context and dependency injection, which is one of the important specifications related to dependency injection in Jakarta EE. Until now, in this course, we have been using Java configuration. Every configuration that we have defined is defined in a Java source file. If I go 2 decades back, most of the projects were using XML configuration. In this section, we'll understand what is XML configuration, how is it different from Java configuration, and when should you use XML configuration, and when should you use Java configuration. After that, we will look at a number of alternatives related to add component. These are called Spring stereotype annotations, add component, add service, add repository, and a few others. At the end of this section, we'll get a big picture around Spring Framework. We'll talk about what are Spring modules, what are Spring projects, and my view of why Spring Framework is the #1 framework in the Java world today. Are you excited to learn a lot more about the Spring Framework? Let's get started.